Okay, welcome everyone to the second class of the advanced coding class. Today we learn more about Python. Um, and firstly, we're gonna revise what we did last week. Last week, what we learned is how to set up a REPL IT account. And then we learn about list, a basic print statement list. So I'll open. The benefit of getting a REPL ID account is you save your work as this. So I have my last week program here. Anyone remember the exercise, the homework I give to you? Dex, you raise hand.
Yeah, it was, you have to list the names of the students in the class alongside with the age and
Yes.
yeah, just the age and the name together. So like
Okay. So this is one way. Remember, this is one way how you do. So you see one way to do it. And I give you the homework here is to find another way using range and length. So anyone managed to do that? Dex, you know, you managed to do that or no? Okay. All right. So to do that, one of the way we do, so we need to use range and length, right? I give you everyone 2 minutes, try to go through and understand how to try to do attempt one more time, how to use range and length. How do we know range and length? What we can do is just range. So we can do range function. There's a range function here. What range function do? I set you in the link. I set you the chat. I give you everyone about a few minutes. Then you can do another one called length. Remember, if you don't know anything, Google your friend, your best friend. They will give you the right link, everything to read and how to use that. Okay, so I sent in the chat two of the way how to use them. So as a programmer, normally a lot of things you don't know, you just need to read on the definition and how to use them. And your task is to write age, name and age together. Okay, I give you everyone 2 minutes, I mean 3 minutes, and then we're gonna I'm gonna go to the solution. Okay. I also copy the code into the chat box, so it save you from typing. It save you from typing, so you can get into the chat box and copy it, and then try to do the homework. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Okay. Anyone? Sorry, I got dropped out from the internet. I just connected back in. All right, this is go back to the homework. Has anyone managed to do it? Using the for? Using, so, okay, solution to do, this is one way. There's another way to do it, which is we do for range length my names print. So we just copy this, okay? And then what you do here is, okay, I will give you my student name. Okay, let's see how it does. Okay, good job, Leon. All right, so let's see how it does my way. So, okay, so you see it came up good because that's what we want. We want the name and the age. And okay, I will explain what it does. Length, what length does is to give the number of, it's just a length of an object, just a number of characters in a string or number in an object. So what it does, length of my student name got how many item in there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so length will be 8. Okay, what does it may say? We're gonna go through all the item in this list. Okay, and what we do is range. Okay, so what we do is range will return, we iterate through them, and then what we have, this the I here will be the index. What range do is return a list of, look at this here, range will be a sequence of integers from 0 to the actual length. So let's say the range 10. That we will create a sequence, and then we're going to iterate through that sequence, and that will return you an index. Index to, what index does is you can access this item into an index. Let's say I will be, I have to explain to you, we're going to access print I. Okay, then we do it again. We run it again. I will maybe value of I okay. Okay, so let's run this. The value of I will be 0 to 7 because we got 8 items. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So from 0 to 7 means there is 8 items. Okay, and in there we access my student name. 0 mean RG. This is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So index 0 is RG. 8, 0, which is 9. So RG is 9, bell 8, coast 10, depth 11, and so on, so on. So that is, I will comment this one out because just to explain to you how the actual range and length gonna work. Isn't that cool? So I say, all right, we're gonna, so from what we learned, the list, you can store the name and the age of each of the student in the class. And when we can know, we can do like this, print. There is a total of student in my class, and you can do like this. You can do that, and so we know, okay, this is the name. There is a total of 8 students in my class, so we know. That's how we can do. All right, I hope it makes sense. Everybody cool with that? That is the last week homework. Today we learned something new. So again, I'm gonna go back to, yeah, create. Well, we're gonna create a REPL ID, and we use Python, and this will call lesson 2, term 2. So it will create a brand new Python lesson for you. Today we're gonna learn something new. I mean, the beauty of REPL IT is you can save your work. So you can go back and do things. Okay, today we learn about tuple. So the way we call tuple is what we call tuples. Tuple is another thing similar like list, but they can store a lot of different things. Okay, so the way we call tuple is, say, my tuple equal to 1, 2, 3. It's very simple. You see, this is my first tuple. Very simple. It's another data type that store information. Or how do we save it? If you have a REPL IT account, so last week we gone through how to create a REPL IT account. It will be saved automatically. Yes, correct. When you create it, it will be saved. Okay, that's the beauty, and then you can always work on it. Okay, Maxwell, if you're not here last week, you have to go to this called REPL IT. You need to go to this one. Because I logged in, you have to create. I give you the link. Okay, you need to create. You need to create an account in REPL IT account. Yeah. If you don't, it's okay. You can. The problem with not creating REPL IT, you can do. There's another thing called programming with, which is here. So you can, for now, you can learn from here. Okay. Which is similar. You can do the same thing, basically REPL IT, and this they are Python. But this is that doesn't need you to actually create an account. You can write on this. I give you in there. You can write on this like similar thing. Like the only problem is you can't save. So you maybe you copy it and you save it somewhere else in your computer or your iPad. Okay, so you can do too. Instead of trying to create an account now, you better follow up the. You follow the class. Okay. One, this is simple. A tuple, they can store tuples. Okay, so these are all numbers, right? Integers. A tuple can be like this, like 1, 2. So tuple can be a mix of numbers. And think. Okay, tuple always start with open brackets. Each of the items separated by a comma. And always end with a closing bracket. Remember this bracket, there are 2 types, okay? A list. Okay. What's the difference between tuple and list? This is a list. This is what we learned from our last week, right? My list. List is like this. Square bracket is a list. Normal brackets is tuple. Okay. The difference between tuple and list. Good question, Jerry. Tuple, once you declare, you cannot be changed. Very important. Very, very important. You can access, okay? You can access. For example, we can do I try to do 2 data types in parallel so that you can understand. Very important. Okay. The only difference between tuple and list is the bracket type. Okay, but there's one much bigger difference. Tuple cannot be changed once you declare it. Okay, let's say you can do my list of 10 by 4. You can do print my list. Now you try to do my score. Where is that? See, we cannot append. Once you declare a tuple, you cannot change it. You can just you just have to use. Whereas my list, see the list here, my list, you got 1, 2, 3. I can append number 4 in there. And now my list got 4 items. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tuple will not work. Tuple will go with an error. Okay. Now you try to. That is. Now we cannot append the tuple. You can treat like tuple like a fixed list where you cannot do anything. Once you declare, you cannot change. Okay. I can do like this, right? Let's say my list 0 equal 10. What I do here is I append 4 into my existing list. Okay. Now it's doable, right? I can change the value in my list. You can see this. Let's run. You see now the list, instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, it becomes 10, 2, 3, 4. Because I changed the first item in the list. Now let's do a tuple. Let's do, can we try with tuple? Tuple can be my print. Can I print? I can print my tuples. Let me see. Good. My tuple is this, right? They can print it. Can I change my tuple? Change me. Can we do it? You can't change. Okay. So what it does, a tuple, it treats it like a fixed thing. Once you declare it like this, it's fixed. Treat it like constant. Does it make sense? You can't change from 1 to here. I can change from 1 to 10. For list, for tuple, you can't. Treat it like a constant thing. That's the difference between a list and a tuple. Okay, I give you a very, and here I can show you that we can print my tuple here. You can print my you can do both list and tuple. You can just use the function, the print, with print everything, but you cannot append, you cannot change the values. Tuple, the difference, list starting with square bracket, tuple with normal bracket, closing with square bracket here, and tuple closing with normal bracket. That's the difference. Text, you have a question, can we append in tuple? No, we can't. It's fixed. Once you declare, it's done. I hope it makes sense to everyone. Okay, let's do a copy here. I copy my code in here into the chat so you can play around with it. So if you got a programming quiz here, you can just copy and paste it here, and then you can just run. It's the same thing. Or you got REPL ID, it has been stored in here. Save. All right, I give you maybe 4 minutes to play around with tuples. You can try different things, and then I will see you back then and try to see some of the work. If you can demo, that would be great. Meanwhile, if you have questions, feel free to raise your hand. I will answer your question. Thank you. You got a few minutes to play around with it. I put my program in the chat box so you can use it. Either using program iz.com or rappleIT.com. It's up to you. Okay, if you have questions, just raise your hand. I will unmute and address your question. Feel free. You just have some time to hang around and play with a new data type called tuple. So last week we learned about list. This week we learned about tuple and list. We probably learn about set. Depend how we go, but probably we should learn about set as well. No one have any question? You understand? So let's say if you want to play with list, or you can play with tuple. Let's say print my tuple 0. We just don't print anything. We just print today because our focus in my tuples. So 1, 3, 2, and then try to run it. See how we go. 1, 2, 3. How about the default Python? So you will see this 1, 2, 3, 1. So they can access tuple using index. That's how we do. Okay, I give you one trick. You need use function new to build in type. Okay, let's say with print type my list. Okay. So what it does, the function type will return the type, return the data type of the variable. Okay, so my list is say, okay, what's the type of my list? That should be a list. What's the type of my tuple? That will be a tuple. So we can run it. See how we go. Okay, so my list, the type will be a list type. My tuple, the type will be a tuple type. That's it, the trick. Why we need to use that? Sometimes during in the code, we don't know what type it is. So we can do like if type my list equal to we can check the type. Okay, do type list. Print and list. You can do like this. You can check the type, then you can run. Actually, you can don't do that. You should do is basically we hang around, play around with it to see what we can do. But all right, let's say move on. Let's say we should do something cool with tuples. Maybe we can do something like this. My tuple to red my colors. Red, green, who got the 7 colors of a rainbow? Can somebody put in the chat? Let's say we do something cool. Esther, thank you. Red, orange. Let's do this. Yellow, blue, purple, Is that 7? Yeah. Green. And one more. Red, orange, yellow, blue, green. Let's do it. So you can do this tuple. You can do print, rainbow, colors are, and then you can print my what we do is we store the colors of the rainbow into a tuple and we print it out. I copied this into the just to see an example how to use tuple. It's a simple one. Give everyone a few minutes to play with it. Okay, we can do how we access tuple. We can do like, okay, we do the first by the 3 colors. Both. So we can do print my two. And let's say do this. Okay, so you can see the difference here. We print the rainbow colors, which print the whole thing inside the tuple. Now we just want the first 3. What we do is we put an index of 0 and what they call here column 3. So this action is called slicing. Okay, so this one by definition we call this called slicing. Slicing means you don't access the full thing into the tuple, but we just want starting from index 0 and 3 items. Okay, that's called slicing. If you do 4, that will be give you the first 4. See, red, orange, yellow, blue. So they give you only the first 4. How do we access the last one? We can do the last color is do like this. So they give you the thing. So there's a many way to access the data inside a tuple. We can use slicing. We can use this -1, which means the whole thing, the last item, which is violet. So there's a few there's a few way in Python that can allow you to access an item inside a tuple. This is they call Pythonic way. It's just the way we do things. I hope you understand. If not, I'm here to answer your question. Okay, I put it in the chat. You can go to here and then you can run. It's the same thing. programiz.com or repoit.com. I think we're really out of time, so I hope we stay here. I think I spend the rest of the time answering the question. Anyone have question? Just raise hand. Use the raise hand function in Zoom. I will make sure I can answer your questions. If you have any question at all, just feel free to ask. I put the whole program inside the chat box. You can play around with it. But this is called slicing, okay? This is another way to access the Python. So instead, you don't go to the length, you just say, okay, go to the end and go back 1. So here we go to the end, which is here, and then we go back 1, which is violet. That's how. I hope it makes sense. Is it confusing or it's okay, or I want to see how's your reaction? Don't want to talk, put in the chat box. One of a very important thing to take away from this lesson is tuple are different from list. List is adjustable. You can assign values. List is a lot more dynamic. Tuple are treated like constant. Once you declare it, it just stays what it is. You can only accessing it. You can't change the values. They got different use. List is just to store things and modify things, whereas tuple is just to store things and accessing values after that. That's a key takeaway from this lesson, everyone. Everyone follow this one? Work? Wow, good. Maybe let me see. Okay, very simple. Okay, I put homework here. QA Okay, I give you, this is quite advanced. Okay, first go, simple, create a tuple of prime numbers and show a different way how to accessing it. That's one. Second one, use programming, use a way how to program and give me the prime number, the largest prime number, which is less than 50. Okay, I put into the chat here. I send you the, so you need to demonstrate that you can create a tuple of all the prime numbers. And then let's say if I have a question, okay, give me a prime numbers, the largest prime number, less than 50 or less than 20. Your program should be able to answer me. That's pretty cool. Leon, for your question, let's say you do a prime number up to 50 only. Okay. So you create tuples of all the prime numbers up to 50, and then I will give you, all right, say change your program so that give me the largest prime number, which is less than 30, for example. Your program should be able to tell me. And then let's say, okay, change your program so that it can be a prime number that is less than the largest one, which is less than 20. Your program should return 19, for example. I hope everyone makes sense. Is everyone cool with that? This is stretch goal. Okay, number 2 is stretch goal. Number 2 is not easy. Let's see if you can do it. It's yeah, if you do it, you are very good. Trust me. You can do this with your eyes like this. You are pretty good. You can do lots of fun things. So I save here so that I come back on lesson 3. I will see this homework and we work through the homework. Okay. I hope everyone understand a new data type in Python. It is well, a first few things. It's a fundamental data concept, so it may not be very super exciting, but again, this is programming. We create some fun problems. Let's say for prime number, for example, try to solve it. That's part of the programming, and I hope you like it. Okay. Just spend more time, play with it, understand more. Any question, ask me next week. That's it, everyone. Thank you and bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.